I'll go ahead and kick us off here. Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining. My name is Samantha Hughes. I'm the Director of Paid Social here at Hawke Media. Doing paid media for about 12 years now, specifically on the working with Pinterest clients for about 9 years. It's definitely one of my favorite platforms to work in since we have so many different options that you don't often see on other platforms like Facebook and Instagram. So I work with a variety of clients on Pinterest, from health and wellness to beauty, jewelry brands, which we'll share a few of our clients created with you shortly. And yeah, super excited to be talking with you guys. I think Pinterest is going to be a huge platform for platform diversification in 2021. And looking forward to getting started.
Yeah, and also, hi guys, my name is Kaylee Mathis. So I am an agency partner manager here at Pinterest. I've been with the team for almost 2 years. So I've worked with several brands within pretty much all of our verticals here at Pinterest, but primarily I work with our agency partners to get their clients on Pinterest to make sure they're set up for success. And Hawke has been one of my most favorite partners to work with, which is how we kind of collab to get for this presentation today. So without further ado, just to confirm, we can see my screen, yes?
Yep.
Yes, we can.
Okay, perfect. So we'll kind of dive into what we have for the agenda. So basically we'll cover Pinterest a little bit broader for those that may not be as familiar with what the platform is, and then we'll dive into how it works for social media and your targeting, and then how to make it work for clients, since that's the most important reason why we're all here today. And then we'll dive into creative and then other measurement solutions and what's new in 2021. Perfect. So Pinterest, we are the world's inspiration company. And so with that, our mission is to bring everyone the inspiration to create a life they love. So with that, we are more positive than some of the other platforms, like, just to name a few, like Twitter or even Facebook. And with that, 9 out of 10 of our pinners describe it as being a platform that is filled with positivity. So with, of course, the pandemic, what that means with still being positive, well, in the early stages, we helped bring accurate information regarding the pandemic. So only from sources like the CDC, HHS, to make sure there was no misinformation being spread, to keep that positivity among pinners. And then also, it's a very inclusive environment. So just over the past year, there was a huge, like almost 4,000% increase in terms related around how the LGBTQ plus community uses the platform. So it all goes back to our mission statement that on Pinterest, everyone, no matter your background, demographics, where you live, is a place for inspiration. So with that, our pinners, what's their mindset? Well, they are dreamers. They have aspirations. And they're coming to look for new ideas, and they save those to their Pinterest boards. So going back to why Pinterest works, we are segmented in the sweet spot of search and social. So we're over here on the right. And with that, Pinterest, it's more visual. Again, they're still looking for those ideas, but still very personable. When I'm on Pinterest, I'm looking for things that I'm interested in or things that I want to do. So with that, as of 2021, we have just under 450 million monthly active users. And that's been really exciting. We've had increased engagement actually since over the past year. A lot of that, of course, is due to most of us being at home and having more time on social platforms. So with that, 77% of these pinners, again, they're still discovering these new products on Pinterest, new brands. They're actively considering which ones they want to incorporate into their life. And eventually, big stat here, 83%, they do make a purchase, which is great news to all of us that are going after more of a lower funnel objective on the platform. So our actual audience, we reach 80% of US moms. For the longest time, Pinterest was known as a mostly female platform, which we still have a very large user base. Of those women, we still reach 50% of millennials, and 76% of those are millennial women. But good news for all the guys out there, we do reach 40% of US millennial men, and that's currently our fastest growing demographic. So we are getting more and more men on the platform every day. So going back to mentality, pinners, they are planners. So they're always looking ahead. So for 2021, what should they eat? How do we start 2021 off right? What kind of home do I want? And that goes back to, so they're looking ahead, they're planning out their lives, they have this inspiration, and they're full of intent. So how does that translate over to actual advertising? Well, they are undecided. When pinners on the platform, they're not looking for Nike shoes or Coach bags. They're looking for just cute spring outfits, cute bags, trendy bags, or what's open around them. So with that, 97% of our searches on the platform are unbranded. And so action intent. So they're searching, it's unbranded, but do they actually act? And yes, 98% of our pinners actually report trying new things that they find on the platform. So with that, truly brands do fuel the content on the platform. Unlike others, when pinners are scrolling along, they won't see an ad that kind of interrupts their flow. Like when I'm looking on Instagram per se, I'm usually looking to see what my friends or family are up to, and then I'll see a sponsored post. But on Pinterest, I'm already looking for like jewelry or shoes. So when I see an ad for Silpada, for example, it makes sense. I'm already looking at jewelry. And so with that, on Pinterest, ads truly are content. And so how to stop interrupting and make your content inspiring, and essentially make Pinterest work for you. So some of our top verticals. We reach a wide variety of industries. So some of those being well-being, beauty, even travel, hobbies and interest, even finance. That's one that a lot of people are surprised about, but finance is actually one of the top verticals on the platform. So any of these are great for incorporating into what your clients do or what your brand does. Benchmarks. And I will give out kind of a little caveat. Of course, these do vary per industry, per client, per vertical, etc. But as kind of a basis, this is what you can expect for cost per clicks, especially right now where our auction pressure has decreased from the holidays. Typically for click-through rates, we are shooting for at least a 0.5, getting up to that 7.75% or anything higher is ideal. CPMs, around 5 to 6, 3 to 4, depending on the type of video, and cost per view, about 1 to 2 cents. So going into kind of our different targeting levers. So we have our everyday interests, seasonal moments, and life events. So everyday interests, these span from anything from just daily searches like yoga flow, morning zen, even dinner party ideas. And then seasonal moments, these are more of our holidays. So with that, we have this calendar, which I look at almost every single day, which shows our seasonal moments on the platform. This again goes back to pinners are planners, so they're searching ahead. So you can see here, starting in June, we already have searches that start for Q4. And as of this past year, those actually start in April. So keep that in mind when you're planning out your media schedules, that the sooner we can get ahead of them for these moments, the better off our campaigns will do. So with that, we also have our 2021 unique seasonal moments. So these are some that are predicted to be big this year specifically. So mine is just the ones we went over. These are some other ones. So Snow Day Fun, award season, Valentine's Day, then moving on downward to Friendsgiving, self-care season, even work holiday celebrations. So other micro moments to keep in mind as well. Moving on to life events. So these are more evergreen. They trend throughout the year. Birthday, wedding, vacation. A couple notes that, of course, wedding and vacation, things do look different currently, but we do have searches regarding at-home wedding, small wedding, backyard wedding. Vacation, big trend this past year was RV getaways or just quick weekend getaways, road trips. So even though they are different than what we've typically been used to targeting, there's still great ways to reach these pinners on the platform as well right now. So now we'll start diving into strategy. So how to incorporate our life moments, seasonal moments, and traditional, and put together a successful media plan. First things first, you're gonna want a business account. That is what gives you access to the back end of our ads manager where all the ads are set up. And really importantly, we need to know our goals. Are we looking to build awareness, Are we looking to drive more traffic to our website, or do we care about online sales? So really aligning with your Hawke rep and then also aligning here on our end of Pinterest will help us set you up for success if we know what we're looking to achieve ultimately. So with that, we can reach new users, new occasions, and new products. And looking at our audience insights. This is another little hub that I look at daily, and it is unique to each brand. It shows insights. So we've actually pulled 3. The first one is for the SIL. So this will show you the categories and interests that their pinners, like their total audience, has been looking at over the past 30 days. So the SIL, they have a really large audience, and their pinners are mostly interested in gardening, even finance, architecture. And so most of these make sense, like gardening, of course, but finance, that one does kind of call out. Typically what that means when I see this is that they have a higher household income. And even architecture, more design, children's fashion, they probably have young children or are interested in that. So these are really good ideas to kind of open up how you view your targeting. We wouldn't just want to go after gardening, where in this case, we have really high affinities in other verticals. It's a great way to, again, just think of different ways to reach our pinners. So moving on to Mega Food. So their biggest affinity interest is health. And so if you were to click on any of these in Ads Manager, it would update and show these little micro interests over here. So we have diet and nutrition, weight loss, medical, etc. This is where I also recommend pulling keywords for your campaigns. So any of these, if I clicked on them, again, they would update and show these micro interests. And so for Silpata, the last thing I want to call out is that with these high affinities, if you sort either of them, so over here on more of the interests and over here on your more keyword based, you're going to want to include anything above about a 1.3x. We've shown that has the most significant affinity for your targeting. Perfect. So other pro tips, you are going to want to install the Pinterest tag or Pinterest pixel. That will give you more insight into all of their website traffic and also allows you to set up more audiences for targeting. Same thing with billing. Before you go to set up campaigns, you want to make sure that is set up. We have 2 primary types, credit card and invoicing. And only one type can be saved for ad account, so keep that in mind. If you do want to run invoicing, we'll need to get that set up prior. And then claiming website and other accounts. If we claim our websites, which is what I do recommend, that'll give you more insight into creating engagement audiences from your claimed domain, which brings us into targeting on Pinterest. So we've covered interests and keywords, customer list, we can upload any CRMs you have to our audiences. And then again, visitor targeting, engagement retargeting, and act-alikes. We gain access to all of those through claiming the domain and having the Pinterest tag installed. So really refined on retargeting audiences. And then we also have the regular targeting levers like location, device, language, and gender. On location, a couple of things to note. We do have regular demographic targeting, but we can also do zip codes as well, or postal codes. So we can make it as niche or as large as you'd like. So moving on to insights and trends. This year, they released Pinterest Predicts, which has basically a not yet trending report. So they've analyzed all of our past data, especially over the past year, to decide what will be the big moments on the platform this year. So with that, here are what's currently trending for 2021. So well-being, travel, again, even though it looks different, there are still tons of searches around that query. Food and beverage, typically our #1 vertical on the platform. CPG kills it. Home, even parenting, pets, not so furry friends under that one. Pinners love pets. We've had a ton of pet brands that do really well. And even celebrations, like going back to weddings, hobbies and interests. Under that, making sure to embrace like tactile, wordplay, digital decor. And any of these micro moments under here are all great ones. So if any of your brands or clients fall under any of these, this is what they're predicted for 2021. Another great tool, so Pinterest Trends at trends.pinterest.com. This is a great little hub that anyone can have access to with a business Pinterest account. Essentially, you can type in your search terms over here, and it'll show you, based off of that query, other ones related to it, what the volumes are over the past, it'll show you a year out basically. And you can look for spikes, seasonality. At the bottom, it also shows you top pins. This is a great little hub that I also look at pretty frequently throughout the week or when I'm putting together proposals. And it's a great way to, again, plan out your media plan and see what truly is trending, even in real time. All right, so moving on. So how to use these. Again, we want to connect early. We want to plan out our media along with them. Get creative. We do need creative to run ads on Pinterest and stay relevant. Identifying new trends helps keep your content relevant and make sure that helps boost your content to the top of the feed when we are serving ads and improves your organic as well. So diving into creative. Pinterest is a very visual platform and creative is a huge part of advertising on it. So with that, we have the Pinterest universe. These are currently our offered ad formats. The ones you really need to focus on are just the top row here. So our static pins, video, carousel, and shopping. So diving into those further, static ads. Our ads on the platform are longer and taller. So we typically have an aspect ratio of 2:3. And then video, we have a couple of different types. So regular video is same aspect ratio, 2:3. We can also do a 1:1. We basically recommend 6 to 15 seconds. That's kind of the sweet spot, but we can have videos up to 15 minutes. Again, would not recommend really anything over about 30 seconds. So keep that in mind if you have a lot of video assets. Other type of videos we offer, so we have max with video, which that expands to take up the entire feed when they're scrolling. So instead of just our regular video here, it'll take up the whole feed, like similar to our performance video. Carousels. So carousels, they also have that same 2:3 aspect ratio. They can also do the 1:1. These pins are a little bit unique where it's similar to a static pin. You can actually scroll to see the different tiles. And with that, they can be linked to different landing pages. They can have different descriptions. So they're great for more of a mid-funnel approach is typically what I've seen them used, but we can really A/B test them in any campaign type. Collections. This is our newest ad format. Basically, it's kind of like a carousel for shopping or catalog feeds. So if we have a catalog URL uploaded to Ads Manager, we can create these collection pins from your actual catalog. And that brings us to the rest of our shopping solutions. So this is going to be a big player for Pinterest in 2021. In 2020, with the introduction of our verified merchant plan and just some integrations with Shopify, they've really enhanced what you can do on Pinterest for your shopping campaigns. So for 2021, they're going to keep improving that. So all you need, if you have a catalog URL, is to upload it. All of your products will show up under the shopping hub on your profile, and you can then promote them regularly. And another unique thing we can do with shopping ads is we can dynamically retarget. And this is the only place, so shopping campaigns are the only place we can dynamically retarget. The rest of our campaigns, we can still do regular retargeting, but dynamic is unique to shopping alone. So best practices, we kind of talked about like what the formats are, what their ratios are, but how to actually make a best practice pin on Pinterest. First thing to keep in mind is that pins are ideas. So when you're looking at contextual pinning behavior, we want to make sure that everything we've talked about so far, so our targeting, seasonality, even life events, is reflected on the copy of the pin. So that when they're searching, that again, it still shows up endemically to their searches and doesn't distract the user flow. So how to put it all together, make sure you call out anything that you offer, so product benefits, anything that makes your brand unique. And again, tie it into that contextual mindset, so our targeting, and that creates a good Pinterest idea or a good Pinterest pin. Another thing to keep top of mind is, of course, COVID-19. It's talked about pretty much in every conversation, and it also affects pretty much every aspect of our lives right now. And so, of course, we want to keep that top of mind when we are creating ads. So if you do anything contact-free, make sure that's called out. Basically, again, it just goes back to staying relevant. We want to make sure that our message is empathetic, that we're not showing any photos of large groups or gatherings, since that's discouraged right now. So really anything to keep your brand positive and also relevant to pinners. Other tips, so make the product the focal point. This is especially important where with clients that are looking at more of a lower funnel objective. So make sure that, as you can see over here with this image over here, we have the product down below, it's front and center. It has striking imagery with the red used, so it's visually appeasing. And with that, we want to include tasteful branding. So this is huge for all brands. A lot of times, some are hesitant to put their branding on there, where sometimes that's discouraged on other platforms, but we highly recommend having it on Pinterest. This will really call attention to your brand because it is your logo, and it tells pinners that they're looking at a product they could potentially purchase. Because again, 97% of our searches on Pinterest are non-branded, so you want to stick out when they are looking for those terms. Text overlay, this is another big one, and I get asked all the time, are there limits on how much text overlay I can have on my copy? The answer to that is no, to a reasonable extent. We don't want the whole copy to be just a bunch of words or text, but we do recommend having just some nice, simple, like right here, bold and bright text overlay. Again, just calling out any brand benefits or anything you want to communicate to pinners. And then CTA. This one is also really important. So with your text overlay, make sure you do have a call to action. So if you want pinners to shop bulk colors or look at your collection or even just check out our website, make sure that's called out so pinners know what we're looking for them to do when they see our ads. This will also help with increasing our CTR and reducing bounce rates or churn when they go to the website. So putting it all together, crafting for impact. This is a very well done ad. It has our tasteful branding. It has the 2:3 aspect ratio, clear, concise text overlay, a strong call to action, and again, that product front and center, and it's just visually appealing. This is what I would consider a best of class example. And now Samantha is going to show us kind of what Hawke has done for their creative, since they've also done some really good assets for advertising so far.
Awesome. So I'm going to show you guys 3 examples of 3 of our clients that are in different verticals, starting off with the sill. So a couple of different examples here. These are 2 of their best performing creatives in the last, pretty much the one on the left here was run consistently over the last 6 months. And then this one here on the right, we really focused on for the holiday season. So the sill, they have a collection of live plants that you can purchase as well as faux plants. And one of the things that we noticed for them was we had a lot of pinners searching for things like, what's the difference between a house plant and an outdoor plant? Or what are the best plants for my office? Things around being a easy ways to be a plant parent, that kind of thing. Where people were searching where they wanted to add some greenery, but they weren't really sure what type and how to dive into that. So we created a selection of different pins. So the first one here on the left, very simple, showing 2 of their products with text overlay, and we're answering that question of what they're serving. So thinking about that contextual mindset that Taylor was just talking about, when you go to create your pins, what are they searching for? Are you answering that question? Because they're going to be seeing these, in this case, static pins, as they scroll through their feed. And if they're searching for something around like, what are the best plants for inside my house, easy plants to own, like I know for myself, I didn't know what type of plants I could have inside my house that were, let's say, safe for animals, or ones that didn't require a ton of maintenance or low light, that kind of thing. So I was able to find that, and this stuck out really well with a big bold text overlay that says easy plants for the new plant parent. So someone that's looking for this as an idea. And then on the right here, we focused on a couple of different infographics that allowed people to see not only just, hey, we have this plant, it's easy to own, but you can put it in any area of light, or this one's for low light. How many times do you have to water it? And then basically labeling them as the easiest ones to own up to, at the bottom here, even pet friendly ones. So we utilize these pins in a couple different areas of our funnel. One, we use it for driving overall brand awareness. We did run a test where we had Pinterest running and we saw an overall brand lift of people discovering ideas around what type of plant they want. And then they went and searched direct on Google, went straight to the site and purchased. So we do know that Pinterest definitely drives with lower CPMs and prospecting a lot of traffic organically as well, or your direct traffic. So we utilize these for brand awareness, but we also run these on a conversion basis. And these two in the last quarter drove the most conversions for us. And then moving on to the next client. This is Mega Food. So Mega Food is in the supplement space. They have a lot of products around maternity, pregnancy, and they also have a ton of immunity products that tend to be their best sellers. These examples here are really, in my opinion, I think they do an excellent job with their creative targeting all three things. We have a very clear text of the logo at the top. So people that are searching directly for them can see this branding. And then also they have really kind of fun little taglines for text overlay. My personal favorite is the "a lot growing on" prenatal one. And then they have, again, more text that speaks to what they know people are searching for in this space. So one, having an all natural product, ingredients that can actually help you versus just added ingredients that maybe people wouldn't have before. And then they have clear call to actions at the bottom. So, and then in the middle one here, throwing in there an example of a promo that they have front and center, very easy to see, and then you can click right through to their site. So again, these ones will be ones that have are ones that have had the best success in the past year. And we've been running these prenatal ones, I would say, for about a little over 6 months now, and they've continued to perform for us. That's one thing that I think is different when you look at creative on Pinterest versus, let's say, we're running a similar version on Facebook or Snapchat. They definitely experience creative fatigue much faster than what I see on Pinterest. So if you have a pin that's working really well, you can run that for a long time and you don't have to consistently cycle through creative quite as quickly as you would on other platforms. We still do cycle in creative, probably on like a monthly basis, but I'm definitely not having to rethink new creative every 7 to 10 days the way we are doing on their Facebook platform. And then the last example is Silpada. So here's a different vertical. This is the jewelry vertical, fashion vertical. Couple examples here of their holiday guides that we used. So a little bit of a take on an infographic. And then on the one on the left is, again, very visually appealing, showing lots of their different products. We definitely find a lot of success with our jewelry brands and any type of, sometimes even with our fashion brands, showing multiple products so that people can find what it is that they're looking for. So in this case on the left, they could be looking for necklaces, earrings, bracelets, and then even on the earring side, a pendant size or drop style. We have very clear call to action that we have a new deal running every day, exactly when it's running, and then shop all of these on site. These two in the middle were, again, our best performers we ran through the holiday season. And then this one on the right is an example of a still pin that we have that's been running organically and continues to be one of our best performers on our evergreen side. Again, all of these are meeting that same setup where we have clear branding at the top, a nice call to action, product focus right in the middle, and then a clear call to action for shop now. So a few examples of different verticals. like I said, we really do see a lot of great performance with different types of fashion brands, as well as like jewelry and beauty. But then health and wellness is really, especially now when people are searching for a lot of ways to stay healthy during the pandemic, we definitely have seen a lot of searches that will definitely help people in that space that are looking for another platform to diversify to.
Perfect. Yeah. As Samantha said, like these are really great best of class examples on creative. And she also gave us some really good tips on how to set up the rest of your plans for success. So other helpful tips just to go over by objective. Again, creative is really important to how well our campaigns do. So for awareness campaigns, you really want to call out those unique product features when relevant. Make sure the ads look really well done, that they stand out from the feed. I actually really love how orange this one is. Typically our CPGs are more yellows, green for healthy foods. This orange really stood out. So anything you can do to make your ad stand out, but still look, really well done and professional, I would definitely recommend, especially for awareness. Online sales, Hawke is really great at putting together these ones. This goes back to having a strong text overlay, good call to action. So again, really well done on that end. Offline sales, this one is a little bit trickier. We can drive offline sales, but it really goes back to how we set up the campaigns and of course the creative. So we need to make sure that it's clear on the landing page and on the ad that with these products that they do need to check out from a different retailer. So here, track more than time, shop smartwatches. So then they'd go to the site and they'd check out from a retailer. So anything that you can incorporate into that to make the path to purchase easier for pinners and less confusing, the better off the campaigns will do, and making sure that we get our message across accurately. Signups. This is another one that typically I've seen used in more lead generation, so even B2B, and especially within the travel industry. So again, another thing to call out, similar to a CTA for driving purchases, is just have a CTA to drive signups or leads, like click here to sign up for our newsletter, click here to book your vacation, etc. So make sure that's clear and concise. Brand lifts. So brand lift studies, we do have them, and we'll dive into more of the requirements later on, but creative is a huge player in brand lift studies. In order to even be approved to run a study on Pinterest, we do have to go through creative checks. So how to ease that process so we're not coming back to you with edits is make sure that we have all of our best practices, so prominent branding, any brand attributes, favorability, intent, and again, keep the logo on all of the prominent, or keep the logo prominent on all of the pins. With a study, typically we're looking to gauge how mature of a brand we are on the platform or how we stack up to our competitors. So make sure you do have the logo on there. So if we're asking what our ad recall was, that'll help drive that percentage higher. So with that being said, we do have other examples of Pinterest best of class. By scanning this pin code here in the Pinterest app, it'll pull up this full gallery where you can look for other examples. So that's kind of a fun one that when we send these sites over after, I would encourage you to check it out. There's a lot of good stuff on there. And that wraps up the creative portion, and now diving more into measurement. So we do have quite a few measurement offerings on the platform. So, and this goes back to also, these are all when the campaign's already live. Most of them we need some data to work with. So keep that in mind that a lot of these aren't for your first Pinterest campaign. It's for furthering your success later down the road and seeing where we can improve or looking for other insights and goals. So with that 30, 60, 90-day optimization plan, once your campaigns are live on Pinterest, that's just the beginning. You will be assigned an account manager per account that will work with the Hawke team or myself or the client directly to make sure that we continue seeing success on the platform. So definitely at that point, don't feel like you are in it alone. We'll still be helping you. And with that, primarily your account manager will help you with looking at our reporting. So Pinterest analytics. Once we have a campaign live under the reporting tab, we can look at our impressions, our audience, engagements, etc. to know where we're at. And with that, we do now have scheduled reporting. So we can actually send out reports on a weekly or daily basis, depending on how you set them up in Ads Manager. So that's different, where before you had to manually pull those each time. So that's been an improvement there. We also have our Pinterest conversion upload. This was new as of 2020, late 2020, I'd add. Basically, we can upload any conversions you have from other platforms. So if it's a TSV file or a CSV, and we can look for cross attribution and match them to our Pinterest ads. So that's been very helpful for active campaigns over the past year. Another one is our Pinterest Conversion Insights beta. This one is super new and it's available to all advertisers with a claim domain and healthy tag. And so this analytics dashboard will actually show you the difference between your paid and organic. Before, we pretty much only track our paid results on Pinterest, but this will also give you more organic analytics insights. And another one we have is our Pinterest conversion analysis. So again, this is more for your second or third campaign where we have more data. This is looking for more early touch, view and engagement rates, cross-device, cross-browser, any cross-attribution insights. So that's what it is and what it's used for. So how to qualify for the full PCA. We do need to have, again, the tag installed and the order IDs and conversion events, make sure they're passing back. And we need at least 10,000 conversion events. So typically that takes 1 to 6 months, depending on, of course, what our targeting is, how much budget we have, how many ads we're serving. And then in addition to that, we have our Pinterest Conversion Lite. So this one, you don't need to have quite as many Pinterest attributed conversions. We just need 1,000. You'll still need the tag, but it'll also still give you those same insights to view through conversions, your full funnel, and for any of the event codes like page visits, add to carts, and checkouts. And so that brings us more to the brand lifts, so other measurement solutions. We have solutions for every objective, so awareness, even all the way down to lower funnel with sales. The primary ones that we've talked about so far are the conversion analysis and the conversion upload. But we also have a couple of different brand lift options, including a conversion lift. So Pinterest brand lift, this is a 2-question survey, and there is a 100K minimum. So keep that in mind. This is one of our higher offerings on the platform. But essentially, like any other study, we're looking to drive more top or funnel objectives, seeing how mature of a brand we are on the platform, how we stack up to our competitors, what's our ad recall, anything along those lines. We can pick 2 questions that align with those goals. Similarly, our 6-question survey has a 300K minimum. And similar to the 2-question, we can just ask basically more questions. You have 6 to pick from. Again, usually more upper funnel. We can typically on a 2nd or 3rd survey, we can look for more purchase intent or even test new products. But typically, again, it's looking for more brand maturity and how we stack up to other competitors on the platform and gaining insights on how to move forward from that. So there are a lot of set of requirements. These are some of them. So we can't have any intra-quarter flights, no campaigns running at the same time. There are limits on study duration, 4-week minimum, 6-week max for a 2-question. 6-question can be longer, but we still need to hit that 4-week minimum. And along with that, again, we need approval from our Pinterest measurement team. So when they are determining if these studies are going to be mutually beneficial, we need to make sure that everything is clear and concise and we have straightforward goals and creative. So a kind of brief overview on measurement, which brings us into the fun stuff. So what's new and upcoming in 2021? So we have Pinterest Academy. This one isn't new, but they have been updating it with Pinterest best practices. This is a great little hub to learn basically everything about Pinterest advertising. Pin codes, we kind of talked about these lightly in the creative section. They're fun, you can use them for your creative. It's kind of like the Pinterest version of a QR code, so they can take you directly to certain landing pages. Story pins, this is currently a beta, but basically brands can tell immersive stories with video, multiple images, descriptions. It is Pinterest's newest format. Primarily, these are mostly been organic, but we are looking to see them coming to paid sometime, probably H2 of 2021. Dark mode. Like other platforms, we have dark mode now, and with that, we've seen almost a 500% increase in searches along relaxing videos or sleep routine, even skincare. So if you have any brands along those lines, dark mode can help boost them a little. Another one I'm pretty excited about, right now this is mostly in the beauty vertical, but we have inclusive search. Again, this is a mostly organic product, but pinners can actually search for makeup by their skin tone. And then we have Try On powered by Lens, again, more organic, beauty vertical based. And I've actually tried this one. It's pretty fun. You can go try on different lipsticks. Even some of my male colleagues have tried it as well. So it's a fun one to see what your shade is. And eventually they want to get to the point where pinners, when they're shopping around, they can actually try on other products too. So that's also on the roadmap for 2021 on the paid side. And bring it all together. So visual search, basically where these little dots are, any of these products would show if it's available, what the price is. So really, this will be an extension of our current catalog integration and shopping campaigns. So being able to shop for multiple products. And then other updates that are coming pretty quickly. So CBO, this one is going to start impacting advertisers on February 1st for those included in the beta. And then all of our traffic campaigns will be transitioning over by March 1st. So things to keep in mind. Basically, why we're doing this is to make it easier on basically our advertisers and partners, is that we can just set a campaign budget. So there's no longer the need to go in and set them manually on the daily. So again, you'll have a lifetime or daily budget cap. So that's kind of something to keep top of mind, as this will just affect traffic campaigns moving forward. So anything else, awareness through conversion, will be the same. And then probably the biggest one in our final product update before we head into the QA is iOS 14. This is a hot topic currently because this will affect every platform, and we are not an exception to that. So we do expect to see a gradual decline in IDFA availability. However, as of right now, we don't expect to have a huge impact on conversions passed through the Pinterest tag. And that's because the Pinterest pixel is web-based. And of course, again, this is an evolving topic, one that we will be monitoring closely in updates. But as of right now, our recommendation is to start using emails in place of IDFAs, and also using any audiences. So any of your CRM list, any engagement audiences, any actalikes, those are all recommended as a replacement. And then we also have our conversion API or conversion upload. So with our analytics conversion API, you can see more of those same insights, and conversion upload, again, that just matches up other platform data to pass through mobile conversion events. So another thing to keep in mind, of course, Apple's changes only affect iOS users, so current methodology can be used for Android audiences, basically business as usual, but that's what we're expecting to see with iOS 14 so far. Which brings us now to our Q&A.
Hey ladies, it's Angel. I can help moderate this because I've been kind of collecting all of the questions while you guys were presenting to make it a little easier for you, and then you guys can just decide who will answer. How about that?
Perfect.
Cool. Okay. So first question comes from Isa, and again, audience, I apologize if I am saying your names or I'm pronouncing them incorrectly. She's with 58 clicks. She would like to know, how is Pinterest penetration in Latin America?
Yeah, that's a great question. We do have dedicated teams for Latin America, Asia, etc. I'm primarily on our US team, but as far as penetration, I do know we need to be careful about our audience targeting. So if you are a US brand and you want to target Latin America, we'll need to be really careful about which audiences and keywords are used, since that can fall under our restricted policy. But as far as specifics on Latin America, I will follow up with our LATAM team, and I can send you those resources or connect you with them.
Awesome. And just so everyone knows, the ladies will be sharing the slides following this presentation, and we are recording this. So if you've left and come back and have missed anything, don't worry about it. You will receive it shortly after. And then if you do have any questions while we continue this Q&A, please feel free to drop them in the chat or the Q&A, and we will do our best to get to them. So moving on, Dara wants to know, how would you differentiate well-being from wellness?
Yeah, another great question. On Pinterest, kind of health and wellness, they're, I would say, pretty similar to being mutually exclusive. Well-being expands more to, in my mind, more of like mental well-being, physical well-being, but wellness is more on the health side of things. So anything along the lines of like supplements or even beauty brands, cure brands, they're basically the same, but there are different ways we can kind of tweak the targeting to make them more specific per brand.
Awesome. And then Sam, of course, always chime in if you ever want to add anything on, and don't be afraid to cut me off as I continue these questions. Abby wants to know, does Pinterest have any policies against advertising and or posting content related to the cannabis, CBD, hemp industry?
Yep.
Yes, so that does fall under our drug policy, drug and paraphernalia policy. Something that is a little bit different in just Q1 is they are opening up a pilot program for topical hemp. So basically they will allow advertisers, after going through the screening process, to advertise just topical hemp. So again, if anything's edible related to like THC or CBD, we still can't advertise that, but topical hemp, we could run a campaign for just in Q1 right now.
I think it's also sort of off topic, but important to note is that Pinterest doesn't do any political advertising.
Mhm.
So like, for example, yesterday, a lot of our clients were asking us to kind of turn down ads just because they wanted to not be caught up in the noise of the inauguration and things like that. And even during times where there's heavy political advertisement and you get a lot of rises in CPMs, CPAs, like for example, during the voting time, that was something that's definitely a huge issue with people having that competition on Facebook. And so Pinterest is always an opportunity to come over and raise your ad spend on our platform because they don't have that type of interference. So that ties into their whole, positive view, making it a positive place to be on. So that's something that I think we can keep in mind too.
Yeah, that's perfect. And something I'd like to add on is any of our policy can be found at policy.pinterest.com. And again, it just goes back to making sure Pinterest is a positive place for all pinners, but all of our guidelines are, again, at policy.pinterest.com.
Wonderful. Okay, so Valerie wants to know, is there an advantage to the 2 to 3 per video versus the 9 to 16 ratios?
Yeah, 2x3 is typically just a regular video asset. The other formats are typically used for enhanced width or max width because they are a larger asset. So 2x3, just a regular video, and then the other ones are typically performance or enhanced width where they take up the full screen instead of just the one column.
Great. And I know you basically wrapped your presentation with this, but just in case we do have people joining or that missed it, what effect will the iOS 14 change or have on Pinterest ad accounts?
Yeah, so the big thing is just with the IDFAs. So essentially, there's going to be a bigger focus on using the Pinterest pixel. We will basically need to have that installed on every Pinterest account so that we can track back our online conversions. Our pixel is web-based, so right now we're not expecting a huge decrease. Like there will be some with the IDFAs, but some other things we're looking into are analytics API, using your regular audiences, and then again, going back to the Pinterest pixel.
Great. Ariel wants to know, any idea of how the celebrations space will pick up through 2021?
Yeah, so that's something that we're monitoring. So Pinterest Predex, we are hoping, expecting, anticipating an uptick. And at trends.pinterest.com, you can kind of look at that in real time of basically right now it's still mostly at home or small gatherings, but we are hoping for a bigger increase in bigger gatherings. But as of right now, just kind of look for different ways to target effectively in that area right now.
Great. An anonymous attendee would like to know, what is the recommended video length or file size for a pin? They've done 4-second videos that link to the full length.
Yeah, I always recommend A/B testing. So typically the sweet spot is right around like 3 to 15 seconds. Even better yet is around 6 to 10 seconds. Basically, and with that, another thing I'd recommend is having any of your important messaging right at the beginning of the video, because of course, the longer your video goes on, the less likely they are to retain what they see. So really having all of your information that first screen or the first couple of seconds will also help make your video ads more effective.
One of the things I can add on to that with the video assets that we've been doing is don't rely on someone also having to listen to the video. So most people that are scrolling through, they probably won't have their sound on. So if it's something that someone has to listen to grab their attention right away, it's likely that it would have lower click-through rate. So usually similar with what my clients are doing on Facebook is we try to grab their attention within the first 3 seconds. And we use text overlay and kind of moving graphics to grab their attention. The other thing to keep in mind is when you upload a video is you can pick the tile image that shows. So if the first like second of your video is like just a white screen and then it goes into it, remember that if you don't adjust that when you're building it, that it will just look like a white box when someone is scrolling through, or a black box or whatever color, or maybe like the sill has one where it moves different squares into the video. And so if you didn't adjust it, it would just show the first plant on the top left and the rest of it's white and you can't see anything else. So that's something to keep in mind when you're thinking about click-through rate. That first tile image is going to be the first visually appealing thing that they see. So it's easily missed when you're building ads. So just a quick tip there.
Thanks, Sam. It's good to know. Okay, Heather wants to know, can you speak to issues regarding stolen pins that redirect to unrelated URLs? What's new in 2021 or for 2021 to prevent this?
Yeah, that's another great question. And part of why they're releasing CBO is to help with that. Before pins, they take you directly on a one-click basis. So in addition to our policy team and even our legal team in some cases where they really are stolen copies, and our marketplace quality team also helps screen for fraudulent accounts. So there are quite a few teams that are always on the lookout for monitoring those. And if you do see any, feel free to bump them to me and I can always redirect to help reduce that as much as we possibly can.
Great. Thank you, Taylor. Okay, so looks like we have about 2 minutes left. If you have any more questions, get them in there. Otherwise, this might be our last question, followed by any final sentiments from the ladies. So Vic wants to know, how good is Pinterest for construction-based products?
Yay. Yeah, I've actually run a couple of construction-based campaigns with some larger industry members in that area. So we can do it. Typically, that's been more of like an offline sell tactic or signing up for like leads or even taking them to a landing page where they can actually find those products. So again, going back to men being one of our biggest growing demographics on the platform, there is interest in that area. So we can reach them if we're creative with how we do it.
Great. Okay, and then Vic is doing one more follow-up question, and then I think we can wrap it up here. Do you think Pinterest is good for real estate and development consultation works? So it looks like you might have needed to specify or wants to specify.
Okay. Yeah, no, going back to real estate, I have run a couple of those as well. So typically that's been, again, going back to more like lead conversion or even like sign up events, like getting them to sign up for a consultation or showing if they have any interest in real estate. Home is one of our biggest verticals, and so is home renovation and home movers. So really going after people that are looking to redo their home or looking for a new home, that's how we can target them. And then using our partnership with Oracle Audiences, so Oracle Data Cloud, we can even get more refined audiences to reach them.